welcome back with your girl Demetria to Unfiltered Unspoken Podcast. Well, today we have a special guest, and her name is Passion, and we're gonna get some passion of feelings today. Passion is a certified coach, poet, aspiring author. I said officer, Lord Jesus, author. And she is a podcast host of Live, Love, and All of the Above. She is a rape survivor and a lupus warrior. She is currently working on 2 books, a collection of poetry pieces, and it is called Of Me, and a fiction book, Wildfires, that is predicated on real life events. We're going to take a quick commercial, and then we're going to come back, and we're going to let Passion tell you a little bit more about herself.
I was at a party. I was drinking and having fun until he targeted me. Drunk and defenseless, he took me to his hotel room and held me down. And did it. I was recovering from an eating disorder and felt like I was finally beating it. Though it made me small and weak, and he was so big. I couldn't push him off. I didn't scream. I was too afraid. My whole body froze. I never said yes. But I didn't scream or hit him. Does that mean it was okay? Wait. Was it rape at all? Though I remember the awful pushing motion and the horrible pain. I hated every second of it. 10 years later, those memories still stuck with me, and I can't get over how he made me feel. I felt sick, dirty, weak, powerless. I can't live my life properly. He took it, and I'll never be the same again.
A large majority of rape victims become ashamed of themselves and have suicidal thoughts after being traumatized by the event. Not all rape cases are reported due to a lack of witnesses or fear of public shame. If a lock can't stop a robbery, what would clothes do against a rapist? Sadly, you can't change the past, but you can change the future. Stand up, report.
Okay, Passion, we're going to bring you right on up, boo. Come on.
Okay.
Let's go.
Hello.
Hey.
Hello. Hey. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm a little,
Huh?
I'm sorry. I'm a little emotional.
Hey, it's dirt. We doing our thing on here. we have to make you feel welcome.
Yes. And that's what I feel. Welcomed. Very much so. Yes.
Good. So I'm going to drop down. I'm going to let you go ahead and dig deep in and, share your life experience. And then Sid is going to come on up afterwards and she's going to give it to you.
Okay. So she's going to ask questions.
Yes, she is.
Okay. So I'm just going to tell a little bit about myself and my story, and then she'll come in. Okay.
Look, go with the flow.
Okay.
Boo. We got you. We got you on here.
Okay.
Okay. Welcome, my girl, Passion.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much for that warm welcoming, and thank you for having me. I am Passion. I am the host of Life, Love, and All the Above, and I am an aspiring author. I'm currently working on my first book. Well, I have 2 in the works. One is a collection of poetry called Pieces of Me, My Life, My Love, and My Pursuit of Happiness. And the other one is called Wildflowers, which is based off of actual events, but it is still fictional. as Demetrius said, and it's still a little hard for me to talk about the events that happened to me when I was 13 years old. Oh God, I was calling myself liking this young boy. He was 16, I was 13, and my best friend and I, she was dating his cousin, who just happened to be 17, and she was 14. So my mom always said to me that you can't go to people's houses when their parents are not home or anything like that. And she would always stress to me that you're too young to have a boyfriend. But, being sneaky, talking to him behind her back and sneaking out to hook up and meet with them. One particular day, it was raining, and I went to my girlfriend's house, and her mom was not at home. And so she was on the phone with her friend, who just happened to be my friend's friend. And so she invited them over. So we were all four of us in her house and watching TV and just, laughing, joking, having a good time. But there came a time when she got up and went into her bedroom with her friend, leaving me in the living room with the guy that I was supposed to be talking to. So once they left, he, sat closer to me, started making sexual advances, and I was like, nah, this is not what this going to be. I don't know what they got going on, but this is not what we're going to do. One thing led to another. I got up off the sofa. He got up, and we were literally fighting toe to toe, blow for blow. It was scary. And at the most, I don't even understand why. To this day, my girlfriend never came out of the bedroom. I don't know if they couldn't hear me or hear us, or if they were just too involved in what they were doing. So I'm running around her mother's dining room table, one into another, and then I try to run into the bathroom to, think, let me just make it to the bathroom and I could lock the door and I'll be safe. But I didn't make it to the bathroom before he got behind me. So now I'm in the bathroom and I'm with my feet up against the sink because I'm trying to hold the door closed, right? And he's pushing from one end, and I'm just thinking, oh my God, please, please. So again, we're doing this whole tug of war thing with the door. He manages to get in, and now we're in this little space between the tub, the toilet, and the sink, and we're fighting again. I mean, we're literally fighting. And this boy picks me up and he body slams me in the bathroom. Boom. And I hit my head. And it was at that point that I lost all fight. At that point, I became scared because I didn't want to get seriously hurt. I didn't know how far he would go. I didn't know if he would, choke me to death or anything. So at that point, once he picked me up and body slammed me, I just laid there and I kind of disconnected and I just was there. And then after it was over and he got up, he said, now see what you made me do. And he walked out of the bathroom. And I laid on that cold floor like, oh my God, I don't even know what to do or what to think. I didn't know. I was so lost in that minute. I was just lost. So I finally get myself together and I put my clothes back together, or put my pants up and fix myself. And I walk out of the bathroom and I walk past the living room and out the door and I go home. And I think, what do I do? I couldn't tell my mother because one, I wasn't even supposed to be in her house when nobody else was there. And I'm like, I can't call the police, because again, it was, what were you doing there? Where were her parents? What was going on? There were so many things going on through me at that age that I just took a hot shower and I put my clothes on and I got in the bed. And the next day when she was like, well, what happened to you? I didn't even tell her what happened. I don't know why I didn't share with her what happened, but I just told her, I said, from now on, don't ask me to come to your house when they're there. Don't think I'm gonna go meet you with you to meet them around the corner. I'm not doing any of that. And the funniest part about it all is he continued to call me. The very next day he called me like ain't nothing happened the day before. And I thought this boy is really crazy. But my whole life changed in that instant. I woke up a different person and I began living a lie, you know, because something so precious was taken from me. And I remember I became instantly afraid of being alone with someone of the opposite sex. Anytime after that, as I got older, and even to this day, if I go out with somebody, a guy that I'm just meeting, and we're out on our first date, if he tries to hug me or touch me in any way, I kind of be like, you know, I'm standoffish. And it took me a long time to even enjoy the act of sex as I got older because of what happened to me. So, and it caused problems in my relationships because I didn't like sex. So I would just lay there, lifeless. Like, I'm just ready for you to get it over and done with. And that's because I kind of disassociated because of what happened to me. And how I coped and got over it was I began at an early age writing poetry. That's really when I discovered that I had a gift for writing poetry because all of the feelings and the emotions and everything that I was going through and what I carried with me had to come out. So it came out in the form of my poetry. And that's how I coped and that's how I dealt with it. And I think that was a trigger for everything because anytime something traumatic after that point happened to me, I would release it through my poetry. So I started writing. People say, well, how old were you when you started writing poetry? I was 13 years old the first time I picked up a pencil and a piece of paper and wrote what I was feeling. So much so that I can't just write poetry just to write poetry. You can't say, hey, write a poem about somebody falling down the steps or being stuck in a cabinet. I write from my soul. I write from my spirit. I write my feelings. So if I'm not feeling it, I can't write it. And, short stories were the same thing to escape what I was going through, what I was dealing with. I began writing short stories and things of that nature. So out of all of that pain, there was some beauty that came to it. But it's been a long time. And just recently, maybe a year ago, I confronted the person on Facebook. I sent a message through Facebook Messenger and I asked if they remembered me and recounted the events. And they were very crafty in their response, whereas they was like, I vaguely remember something like that, but if I did anything to harm you or cause you any pain in any way, I do apologize. Now, here we are, like I say, years and years later, and I figured that would be as close to an apology that I would ever get, if any. So, but that one thing caused me to enter into a life that was just a facade. I mean, my whole life, basically, up until recently, I like when I got my first real boyfriend, and I lied and said I was a virgin, but I wasn't a virgin, right? So what do you say to somebody when you've had something taken from you, and then you can't just get that back? So by the time my boyfriend and I got to that level where we would become intimate, he immediately knew that I was not a virgin. So because he felt like, and I did lie, but I wasn't ready to share that I had been raped. I was not ready because I felt like I was wrong and I was in the wrong place. I wasn't listening, so I felt guilty and I carried that guilt and that shame with me for a very long time.
Powerful story, Passion. And we can tell, since that intro, it's been a lot of emotions going on. So what we're going to do before we get into any questions, we're just going to take a short break, let it breathe for a little bit, then we'll come back and get into it, okay?
Okay.
All right.
I'm a survivor. I'm not gonna give up. I'm not gonna stop. I'm gonna work harder. I'm a survivor. I'm not gonna give up. I'm not gonna stop. I'm gonna work harder. I'm a survivor. I'm gonna make it. I'm a survivor. Keep on surviving.
Welcome. I am your co-host, Daryl Washington. Today, I wanted to come in and just to first say thank you to all of you who are tuning in on today's broadcast. I hope that you are very excited and getting something out of today's broadcast. We are working very hard here at Unfiltered Unspoken just to be able to bring you information that is life-changing. We are reaching across the world to bring in individuals who have suffered with the same issues that some of you have suffered with, or possibly even know individuals who are suffering with the same thing. Today, I wanted to take this opportunity just to show you a few of our upcoming shows that we are putting into place for you all, just for life-changing experiences, that you all will have the opportunity to get some information. Look at all of the listing of the individuals that we have coming. I know that you all are going to greatly enjoy where we are going. We truly believe that we have been assigned to do this, and we know that if you tune in, continue to follow us, and you can follow us. At the bottom, I have all the listings of where you can follow us. If you are looking for individuals to come on your podcast, we will be more than happy to assist where we can. And I'm asking you all, please take the opportunity to share. We also are open to any type of financial donations that we may continue this mission and be a blessing to many of those who are out there. So as we return back to the show, please remember, stay open, give yourself a chance so that you can live the life that you were purposed to do. Thank you.
Yes. Yes.
All right. Now we're back with Passion, who just told us about her life experience, with surviving rape and the build up, the come down. So we're going to get into asking her a little bit about the whole shebang. Now, Miss Passion,
Yes.
let's see where I want to start here. So it looks like you gotten to the point where you wanted to make amends. Well, not even really amends, just facing, things head on with the people that have wronged you. Now, you did say that you got in touch with your abuser, your rapist. Have you ever, were you ever able to talk to your friend about what actually happened? Or, how did that even move after that? Were you still friends with her, or, how did that go down?
We were still friends. She never even questioned, and I've always wondered if she knew. I've always wondered if she didn't come to my aid because his friend was in the room and maybe he was keeping her in a room, or again, maybe they were just so engrossed in whatever it was they were doing that she didn't realize. And sometimes I think, well, maybe I should have screamed a little louder, or maybe if I would have knocked something over, just something. I just, in that moment, you just don't know. It's just straight survival, and your adrenaline is just rushing so fast. I never even imagined having to be fighting somebody like that. And this was a young man. And I mean, when I say we were fighting, we were fighting.
I believe you. Oh. Now, it also seemed like probably one of the toughest confessions of the situation you would have had to make was to your mother. When did you have that conversation with her?
I still haven't had that conversation with her. She still does not know that I was raped.
And why have you chosen to still, keep it under wraps?
I don't think that I've chosen to keep it under wraps. I just think it's never come up. I recently myself just started talking about it, verbalizing it, because I knew that I had, in order for me to really be free, I had to start talking about it and speaking my truth. Because, like I said, I began living a lie. That I was no longer that innocent 13-year-old girl the next day. And my whole world changed. I was so hurt and angry and full of pain. I became withdrawn. I started suffering in school. My grades were um, failing. My mother didn't know what was going on with me. Teachers calling. I'm not turning in homework. I became withdrawn, and my only outlet was writing. And what I would do is I would write my poems, and then I would share them with my mother. I would say, like, "Mom, look what I wrote," and she would be like, "Oh my, you wrote that?" And I was like, "Yeah." She was like, "That's nice." And I don't know if she ever thought, well, where is this coming from? Where's all of this coming from? And I would even take my poetry to like my good friends at school, and I would share with them my poems, and they would all be like, oh my, so much that by the time I turned like 16, they had started calling me Little Maya Angelou, because I was always writing, because I had so much in me to get out.
I'm gonna chime in really quick because I don't talk about this either, and we have a connection, and you didn't even know it. I was raped at 13 as well too, and it did something to my life as well. So I know how you feel. I silenced. I didn't tell anyone either, but as I got older, I talk about it now, and I'll have these conversations. It's tough to come out and say, someone raped me. That's not the typical conversation that you have with folks, and it's challenging. So I definitely understand where you're coming from, Passion, and how you feel. So you just brought out another piece of me that I don't talk about a lot as well. With that connection, did you seek any professional help? Did you talk to someone? Are you, besides your platform and vending on your platform, have you ever took any other professional measures when it came to getting help coping with the rate?
No, I've never received counseling for the rape, but I have gone through anger management because I was angry, real angry. And one of the things that really affected me the most was when started having children, because that anger was still inside of me. They could probably drop something on the floor. It could be something minute, minor. It could be they dropped a fork on the floor, and I might go off on just in a tangent, but that's because I had so much anger and resentment and guilt and everything built up inside of me. And it just, things, whatever's in you has to come out. And so it came out in anger. Sometimes I felt like, why didn't I fight harder? Why didn't I this? It was always, why didn't I? Why didn't I? Why didn't I? And when you start to change and you don't know who you are anymore, and you go from one extreme to the next because you're looking for yourself and nothing seems to work. I tried to be in relationships, but I didn't have the right respect for a man. I didn't even like when men would touch me, but I knew if I was going to be in a relationship, that was going to be a part of it. So I would, like I said, I would just be there. It was like, non-eventful, and that would cause issues and, have questions afterwards, like, you didn't like it, it's not this, it's not that, just a lot of different things, and it would cause problems. So I did go to some counseling, but it was for anger management.
Okay. We're gonna go. You're breaking up a little bit. Your microphone's coming in and out.
Okay, I apologize for that.
No, it's fine. It's a sound, so I just wanted to let you. It was low, but I can hear you, but it's low and it's echoing a little bit. So I don't know what happened. Okay. Can you hear me?
Yes. Am I still echoing?
A little bit.
Let me adjust.
Okay.
See if that works. Is that better?
Yeah, it's a lot better. I don't know. It like the sound went down, so I'm not for sure.
Let me see. I could turn you up a little bit. Yeah, this is as loud as it's gonna go.
Okay, so we're gonna try to push through with the your life experience. I can hear you, but just maybe a little bit louder. Do you I guess a part of the healing is releasing. Do you feel as though that you would ever talk to your mom about the rape to let her know what happened?
I don't know. I've never even thought about it. I've tried to as much as I can put it behind me. As a matter of fact, the reason why I approached this individual on Facebook was because a friend of mine had met somebody through a dating app, and she went out with him on the first date, and he got her drunk, and she passed out, and she can't remember if what happened. So she thought that she may have been raped. So when I was trying to help her through that, it kind of triggered and brought everything back. And I shared with her, I was like, well, I understand what you're going through, how you feel, but, because I was raped, and I had to tell her that. And that's kind of where everything went. And Facebook has this tricky thing where it says people you may know based on mutual friendships.
Mm-hmm.
So when his name showed up as y'all may have, be friends, or this may be somebody you know, I thought, oh my God. And I thought, I wonder if he remembers me.
Of course he
And,
does.
right. So, and that's what made me send him a message through Facebook Messenger. And I asked him, if you are this person, this is who I am. Do you remember? And I typed in the incident verbatim, step by step. And then I said, and if you are not him, I apologize for, bringing this to you. And he responded, and he said he remembered me. He said he remembered that. He vaguely remembered that day.
Yeah.
But if he did anything to hurt me in any way or cause any pain to me, he apologized.
That was guilt. He was releasing his guilt.
Yeah. So that's what made me even do that, and just trying to help her through all of that. Even when we were sitting in, because this happened in Virginia, so we had to go to Inova Fairfax Hospital, and we had to go through to what they call, I think it's a rape victims unit or whatever. So we went down to this room and we sat in there. They did a rape kit on her, and just sitting in there listening to other women and seeing everything that they were going through, all of that just came rushing back, and it just smacked me in my face. And I was like, oh my gosh. But I don't think, I don't know, I thought that maybe I was completely healed from it, because I felt like my poetry was a way of me coping and dealing with it, much like journaling. Because, like I said, there were other things that happened after that caused me to just constantly live in a state of flux, because I was lost. And I was trying to find myself, and I was unhappy with life. I was unhappy with me. Oh, Jesus.
I feel you
I'm sorry.
tremendously. No, don't be sorry. I feel you, because it's actually making me recall that day, and it actually was someone I didn't know. So just reliving someone taking advantage of you
Right.
against your will is, yeah.
And then you think it would have been his word against mine.
Yep.
And then because people had seen us together in the neighborhood, he was supposed to so-called be my friend or my little boyfriend or whatever. And back then, this was in like 1982, 1983, they didn't have date rape then. Date rape was something that, came about later, in the later 80s, right? And so you think, is it even rape because I know him? No means no, right? So, it just changed the trajectory of my whole life. And because I was in the darkness, I was searching for me, who I was supposed to be, and it wasn't until, even like I said, I went through anger management because of something that happened at work, and I was getting ready to lose my job. And so my supervisor was like, no, because I just think you need to learn how to control your emotions. And then they reprimanded me, and part of the reprimand and part of the things for me to stay on was that I would have to go to anger management. And that's how I ended up going even through anger management. It was through an employee assistance program, and that was for me to be able to keep my job, and then going through that helped a lot. Even then, when I was going through the anger management, when I was talking to the counselor, I did not talk about the rape. Everything else made me angry. I was upset about everything else but what I was supposed to be upset about, which was the rape, which was the reason for everything else, right? And so after I went through the anger management class and they sent the report back to my job, I learned techniques to deal with my anger. And so once I began dealing with my anger, things started to become a little better. But then I realized that I really needed to release the shame and the guilt that I felt behind all of that. I was tired of living a certain way. I was tired of being unhappy. It's a bad feeling when you think it's bad enough when you don't love yourself. But when you think, wow, because there was a point in time when I thought God didn't even love me, right? So when you think God don't love you, you're doing something bad. Something's wrong. But I was wrong. And so I had to come to terms. I had to come to grips with everything, and I had to face it head on, look in the mirror and say, this is not what God intended for you. This is not the life that God has purposed you for. This is not God's dream for you. So once I started down that road and I started reading my Bible and I started praying and I started going back to church, I rededicated my life. And so through scripture and fellowship and just praying, I began to heal. And sometimes I like to say I did it on my own, but I didn't. That was nothing but God, God's grace. God said his grace is sufficient. And it was God's grace and his mercy. And all of those times when I had the suicidal thoughts, when I thought, oh, I didn't want to live anymore, and I just wanted to be weak, but I didn't know how to be weak. I didn't know how to do the weak thing. I was just too strong for my own good, if that makes sense. So, and even when I started dealing with that head on, then I got sick, right? And for a whole year, I was sick. And I started to think I was going crazy. Because every time I would go to the doctor, they would say, nothing is wrong with you. And I would say, no, that's not true. Something is wrong with me. I know it. I feel it. Oh, well, everything came back normal. There's nothing wrong. Da, 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 da. And it wasn't until I was rushed to the hospital. I had acute renal failure. I had fluid around my heart. I had fluid in my lungs. I had no functioning kidneys. That they said, oh, you have lupus. So now I'm like, okay, here we go. And it was just something else that kind of took me back, because I felt like I was at a point in life where I was just beginning to love me, and I was dealing with all of that past baggage. I was deep in church, deep in prayer, and now boom, and here you go again. So now there's a whole new dynamic. So now I'm literally fighting for my life now, because they was like, you're gonna have to go on dialysis. And I don't know if you know what lupus is, but it's an autoimmune disease that affects every facet of your body, your muscular skeletal system, your organs, anything, and it mimics a whole lot of stuff, which is why they had the hard time finding out what was really wrong with me. So now here I am, and I'm fighting this every day. And with a chronic illness such as lupus, there are times when I can't even brush my own hair or put my clothes on. There are times when I can't walk. There are a lot of times and things happen. My other things happen because it's a autoimmune disease, and I take all of this medicine, hair falls out, teeth fall out, a lot of stuff happens, and I still go through some form of depression. But I have to fight hard. So every day for me, it's a fight to stay positive, to stay focused on what God has intended for me to do. And this is how I came up with the idea for the podcast that my cousin and I do, because I felt like like I said, I felt like I healed myself. I know what it takes. I know what to do. I know what got me through. But I realized I really didn't have anybody to talk to, because I didn't know how people would receive me, how they would judge me, how they wouldn't judge me. So when I was talking to her, I said it would be nice if we did like a podcast and we talked about the issues that affect us and provide resources and information for other people so that they can get the healing and or the help that they need. And then that's how we began doing what we do. So it's all about providing a space and being of assistance to somebody. If I can help one person that's going through something, if I can help them heal, if I can help them become a better person than they was the day before, then I have accomplished what God has called me to do, and that's to be of service to others.
See, now you got me connected with you, and I'm gonna let you know how. We're gonna go on a break though, but we're gonna get into that when we get back. That was that whole second half. We just learned that just took a whoo. Yes. So we're gonna take a short break, and we'll be right back, and we'll finish it up, get into the rest of this story, what you got planned, and what's next in your healing journey. Okay.
Okay. Love it. Thank you. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
Look, y'all better get
Thank
y'all
you.
merch. Y'all better get
yes.
y'all merch.
Get it.
Yes.
Oh, yes. Yes.
Well, what I was saying now was, Demetria just swooped in earlier, that's the connection. This is what I don't really talk about much. And that for me is the fact that I have lupus. I've had lupus since 2012. I was diagnosed Valentine's Day, 2012. And I found out I was a server. And then, carrying plates and whatnot, I'm thinking I'm just, doing, just roughing myself up at work. And I was told I was carpal tunnel at first, and Like after
Mm-hmm.
a while, you knew there it was something else going on. So luckily, it didn't take me too long to find out because my mother had it. So it's a genetic thing. So that it kind of prompted them to test me for it. But I do feel for the people that have to go through the whole rigmarole of trying to figure out what it is, because it does mask itself as other things.
Yes.
And it's a ride, and it's like you got normal stresses of life going on, and what is normal for others can spark a whole change in your life, in the way that you live, and the way that you can live. So
Yes.
you trying to keep stress levels down, and you trying to stay healthy, and the world moving around you is not on the same page at all.
It's not.
Not on the
It's
same
not.
page. And I want to give a shout out to my mom. I know she's going to be watching that. My mother has lupus as well.
Yes.
Over 30 years.
Yes, that's a
So,
blessing. That's a blessing.
over 30 years. Things have changed for her dramatically. Single mother was out here doing it, and everything came crashing down. Now she's dependent on people she never had to be. And it's when you're used to doing everything yourself,
It's hard.
Yeah.
it shatters your world, really.
It does. And the hardest part is a lot of people don't understand. Like, I could wake up tomorrow morning and be good, but by noon, I could be no good. I could be sick as a dog by noon, just like that. So I really have to monitor how I spend my energy and my time. And if I know I'm gonna do something, like if I know last week I'm gonna come to the car wash, then I'm gonna be like, I ain't doing nothing this week. I'm not doing nothing because I'm
Save my
going to
little
hang out,
energy.
right?
Save my little energy. Yes.
So I can have my energy. I'm trying to throw a little cheap plug in there too. So
Then trying to keep up with folks. You got to time your medicine just in case you want to have a drink.
yeah,
It's a lot going on.
you know,
It's a lot that other people don't have to consider. But
it is.
it,
But
it
I'm I'm even grateful for that because I'm part of a lupus group on Facebook, right? And there have been so many times when I get the notification that one of the members of the group has transitioned. And I immediately shed a tear and say a prayer, because I have to thank God every day that I'm still here. And every day that I'm still here, I give thanks for the things that I used to take advantage of. I used to take advantage of or used to be neglectful of the fact of just being able to walk and pick up a cup or comb your hair. These are certain things that people don't even give a second thought about until you don't have the ability to do it.
This is what I'm saying, y'all. Listen to her, because literally being disabled is really only classified as not being able to perform daily activities. So literally anybody in this world is a step away from technically being legally disabled.
Exactly.
So we really underestimate what it is just to be what we call normal. Live normal.
Exactly. We do. We really do. So those are some of the, that's just, where I've been and what I've been through, and just now beginning. And I realized that even in parenting, there were a lot of things that I kept from my children because we think we want to protect them. Like, I had an abortion, right? And I'm just going to go into this. And I think I'm going away from it, but I just wanted to be. And after I had the abortion, I became guilt stricken, was really guilt ridden. So much so that I ended up at PIW. So that's the Psychiatric Institute of Washington. And I was in there on a 72-hour hold because I was having suicidal thoughts. And this was back in 1993, right? Went through all of that, came out. Years later, here we are, years later. My daughter went to school for counseling psychology, and she graduated from Bowie with her master's. And one of the jobs that she got as a counselor is up at PIW. And so she was just playing around with it. I shouldn't say that. But anyway, she discovered that I had been a patient up there, and she called me on the phone, and she was like, "Ma, have you ever been up here in this hospital?" And I couldn't do nothing but hang up on her. But see, that was just God again showing me that in order to serve me, in order to do what I'm calling you to do, you have to confront and face all of that. There can't be no secrets, because when you carry those secrets and you have that shame, then people have the power over you to hurt you, to use things against you. And here I am, and I'm trying to reach people and help people and talk to them about becoming who they supposed to be, healing, and all of these things. But I had yet to tell my children, some of the things that I went through. But you don't want to tell them that because you think you're protecting them. So it was just, some things just have to come out. You have to face what's in your past. And there were things that I chose to talk about and things that I chose not to, thinking I was going to be okay. I'm okay. I'm okay. But it's like, no, you have to face it all. That is the only way for you to become completely whole. That is the only way for you to be completely healed. You have to face it all, even with the lupus. I would meet, because I'm single, I meet guys, and we talk for months and months and months, and I would never tell them that I have an illness or anything. But every time they want to hook up, I can't. And then I would tell them a lie, I would make up a lie, because it would just be the time that they say, well, hey, well, let's go out to dinner. Let's go take a movie. I'm like, I can't. And instead of telling them why, it was a lie, an excuse. And so here I am. You know what I'm saying? So it's always about, for me, being 100% honest and as upfront as I possibly can. And it's a learning experience. My whole journey has been a learning experience. And I'm thankful for it. I'm thankful for the scars. I'm thankful for all of it, because I can relate and I have a testimony. So
I agree. That was one of the bigger issues for me. Just knowing that the person that I land on, I'm gonna have to be comfortable enough and vulnerable enough to possibly be able to just let it be.
right,
Like I might have to really depend on this man for everything because of my
correct,
health. And you have to, for one, you got to situate yourself like, is you think he can handle that, or like
right,
then like it's just an internal thing. Like I'm eventually may not be able to take care of myself and my family. Like it's a lot going on.
right.
And I also want to say we do not take for granted, because you are dropping a lot of things I'm sure you have not shared with anyone. It sounds
True.
like I can
Yeah.
read that much. So I just want to say we appreciate you,
Yeah.
because for one, that's brave to do. You telling us things you ain't even told your mother. So
Well, she'll hear it.
we hold
I
you here.
was gonna say, she gonna find out, right?
I mean, but it's a special, kind of thing, just
Yeah.
being the first to know, or the one
Yeah.
that you were the one that they confided in, and that's special to me. When people come to me and I don't, have to dig or pry or prod, they really just feel like there's a spirit that they are comfortable enough to share with us. I just, want to make it clear that we do not take that for granted at all. I appreciate that from the bottom of my heart. I know I do.
Thank you.
And not only that, you got Sid talking today. Sid is very like, woo! But today
Yeah.
it came out, which is a beautiful thing, that your life experience was able to connect with Sid's life experience, and Sid's life experience was able to connect with yours.
Yes.
And the same vice versa. You and I had similar life experiences, and this is the purpose of Unfiltered Unspoken, and this is just showing everyone this platform is designed to do what it is doing right now. So trust and believe that life experiences, sharing life experiences, is important, especially when we're going through the healing process. As for Passion, she was able to tell her life experience, and as you see, she hasn't even told mommy yet. So she's trying to help others, connect with others. Look at Sid. Sid and both have lupus. They both are still going through life traumas, I want to say, because they never know who they need, who they're going to need to depend on. And a lot of folks don't understand the condition of what lupus can cause to a human. But as you've seen, you had Sid and Passion and even Sid's mom. And Sid, I have to give this shout out. I love your mom already, and I haven't even met her. Sid mommy follows us. She is engaging. She's supporting. She's repping her daughter. And it's
First day.
First day. Yeah, I look.
Okay.
I say, Sid, is that your mom? And she's like, yeah. And I'm like,
now she look. We got the same name, so she gonna make it clear. I'm Sid Senior. That's Sid Junior.
Okay. Sid Senior. But we're getting down to the wire. We have 3 minutes left. I want to go out. Passion. Can you tell folks just one thing that will help them begin the journey of healing? Just something that you went through to help you start the journey, really quick.
Yeah. You have. Oh, yeah. You have to be honest with yourself. You have to look yourself in the mirror, and you have to admit those things which you're ashamed of. And then you have to pray on it. That's all I know. They say, train up a child to which the way that they should go, and they will never depart from it. So I was brought up in church. So you pray on it. You ask God to show you which way to go. Ask Him for guidance. Ask Him for direction. And then reach out to somebody, a counselor, a therapist, a coach. But you have to be 100% honest with yourself. You have to. And until you can be real and honest with yourself and say that I have some baggage that I need to get rid of, that I'm ready to take that step to heal, and I'm committed and determined to doing whatever it is. And if you just need somebody to talk to, there are plenty of people out here that have been through similar situations that are not afraid to share and hold your hand and walk you through the process. Yeah.
Amen.
Yes.
Amen.
Yes.
You hit it. And the mirror thing helped me too. Like I said, I used to put sticky notes all over the mirror.
Mm-hmm.
Beautiful. I love you today. You love yourself. I mean, just certain stuff I used to put all over the mirror because I had insecurity issues and low self-esteem after what happened to me. I didn't feel beautiful. I didn't feel. I just felt empty.
Mm-hmm. That's it.
Yeah.
That's
So,
it.
Sid, I'm gonna let you go ahead and close it out, baby girl. And, last final thing for Passion, and then we're gonna wrap it up.
All right. So, again, at the end of the show, it is our time for our shameless plug. So, Passion, anything that you have going on, anything you got coming up, your social media handles, plug yourself, girl. Get this your time to shine. Send them to where they need to go.
Well, I do have Life, Love, and All the Above, the podcast, and we broadcast every 2 weeks. Our next show coming up is with Dr. Janet Lynn Boswell, and we'll be doing Church Hurt. So if you would like to join us, you can join us. We're on YouTube, Facebook, Spotify, Amazon, Anchor, Apple, and Google Podcasts. And I am currently working on my book. It's called Life, Love, and All the Above. No, look at me. I'm stuck. It's called The Pieces of Me. And I did have, I was going to read something if we had enough time, but I don't think we do. So I won't be able to share. But it'll be released sometime in November. So look forward to that. And it's a collection of poetry. And what it is every poem in there is something that is based off of what I've been through in life. From the pain and the sadness to my quest to finding love and even finding happiness. That's why it says my life, my love, my happiness, the pursuit of happiness. Yes.
Well, we want to thank you for joining Unfiltered Unspoken Passion. I really appreciate you. I just want to give a shout out to you real quick. And while we have the team on here, I love y'all. As you know, they are working, hours, work. They right behind me. I appreciate y'all. I love y'all. Passion changed my life. I was on her podcast, and I guess she believed in me and what I was doing, what Daryl is doing, what Sid is doing, what Unfiltered Unspoken is doing as a whole. It's not just about self, it's about us, it's about a unity, it's about a movement, it's about a journey. And the reason why Unfiltered Unspoken Podcast is moving the way it is because of passion. And I want to thank you. I want to give you a credit, Queen, because you have changed our lives. And I want to give it to you, boo. I gotta give it to you. I love you. You will always have a special place in my heart.
I got one question, if I
Yes,
can.
yes,
You just
ma'am.
have to promise that y'all will all come back on my show and do my show.
Of
All
course,
of y'all.
of
Oh,
course.
I love y'all. Thank you.
That ain't nothing but a thing.
Okay.
Reach out. Let's sync up after this, and then
Okay.
Derlin said they'll flex, and well, we will definitely be on your show to come rap and get
I'm
get a little
ready.
yes, yes, yes.
Yes. And I thank you for having me. I thank you for giving me the platform to speak my truth. Um, it was hard. This is the first time I've really spoken my truth like this. I've talked to people individually, but never in this light like this. So thank you. Thank you.
No, thank you, and we are honored. We are honored that we are the first. Do you hear that? Unfiltered, Unspoken was the first to deliver Passion's life experience. I love you. That is just saying that all the work that we're all putting in is showing. It's showing. This right here is a protege of Unfiltered, Unspoken, the good fight, and the mission and the journey that we are on together.
Yes.
Together. I need to make sure I get an autograph copy of that book. Everybody, I'm telling you, I
Oh,
need an
you got it.
autograph
You got
copy.
it.
Okay. And a
You
hand
got it.
deliver, special delivery.
Yes, ma'am. I will bring it directly to you. I will bring all of y'all one.
Thank you. And
You're
I'm a
welcome.
support. I want to purchase it. So I'm definitely going to
Nah, I
support.
can't do that. You know what you could? I could give it to you, and y'all could leave reviews on my book.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
I be
Love
getting
you.
paid to write those. I'm gonna write a good one, a good one.
Oh, you get paid to write reviews?
I do. People pay for reviews, just so y'all know.
Oh,
So go by your own discretion, but companies will pay people to write reviews. Yes, they will.
oh, okay.
Hmm.
Well, we need to talk about that because I need to get paid for I'm having everybody writing reviews on me.
Okay.
They get professional
Okay.
people to write them things up. I'm telling you.
Well, then that's
Just like to chime in
misleading.
real quick.
Go ahead, Daryl.
This was awesome. Um, I'm really speechless. But what I will close for the listeners to hear and understand is that although God is definitely moving us in the direction of healing individuals, we still must understand that there are some that may not ever get out of this. There are some that's going to die in the midst of this. And with that being said, we got to continue to keep those individuals in prayer. And also, with all of the consistency of this, we also have to make sure, and I'll let this commercial speak to that. And we'll be right back for the closing right after this.
If I died today, would I be proud of the life I lived? Death. It's the one thing that puts everything else into perspective. If I died today, would I be proud of the life I lived? Death. It's the one thing that puts everything else into perspective.
Or will eventually have a problem that life insurance can help solve. As life insurance agents, we are and will always be a necessity in America, guys. People just think about funerals. They think about the funeral expense, but they don't think about the residual effects that deaths have on us. And if you've never dealt with a death firsthand or close to you, you wouldn't understand. A lot of people in America, they don't understand. That's why they don't feel life insurance is a necessity, and we're here to change that. It also safeguards your family against debt. Everything that's going on in America. Bills, high interest rates, gas, inflation. What we do is a necessity. Life insurance is a necessity to help with these things. You never know the effect that it's going to have down the line, guys. If you have family members that are not covered, get them covered because it's going to affect you one way or another, right? So you just have to know you have a license, put it to use, and you are a necessity here in America. Thank you
Get your life insurance
Yes.
today, and Sid can help you. She will give you all the kind of coverage.
I can and I will. I will answer any question, even if you're not ready right now, even if you ain't got the funds right now. Let me talk to you about it. Let me help you understand. When my mother went through her ordeal with lupus, when everything went up in flames, granted, she had her work benefit package that had the life insurance. However, if you're not working, you separate from that job and separate from you retire, those terms are not the same. The short-term disability, long-term life insurance, not the same. It's like Cobra. You see how much it costs and how little coverage you get. So you want to make sure you have a policy that you own. You can watch grow yourself. You know the terms. You can get serviced. You want to have that in place because as you can see from his passion story, my life experience, my mother's life experience, it can all like this, real fast, real quick. And if you got kids, you the single mother, single parent, they the only one you at your paycheck every week that you already struggling with to make ends meet. When that's no longer there, what do you do? What do you do? What do you do? So you got to get yourself set. Spend that money per month. You buy a coffee a day, a breakfast sandwich a day, a pack of cigarettes, a pack of gum.
You party in the club, spend $50,
Okay.
$60.
Your recreational drugs, all of that. So
get your insurance before you get materialistic stuff, baby.
Exactly.
Let me tell you.
Exactly.
What's the more important? I see so many folks that look swagged out living. But when they go, they don't have no insurance.
Y'all asking us for money for your GoFundMe.
Yeah.
You got to depend on other strangers.
Know what is important first.
It's
Know
embarrassing,
what's
huh?
important first. It takes nothing to pay a monthly premium.
Nothing. And even on a selfish level, if that doesn't do it for you, if you feel like you single, you don't have no kids, you don't take care of nobody, when you're gone, you gone, you can use your life insurance when you're alive. It builds cash value. You can withdraw it tax free. This is what the rich savvy people do. That's how they do it. It's how they make investments and not have to pay it back with taxes and things like that. So it's a need for it. You have a need for it. Trust me. And there is room in the budget. Trust me. For anything, we can make something work. So come holler at me.
Get your
And with that being
insurance.
said, that's one of the things that we do here at Unfiltered Unspoken, is that we believe in making sure that we can deal with all of these, because all of this is a form of an abuse. When you pass and you don't have insurance, that's a level of abuse, because what it restricts on other individuals who are already dealing with their own issues, it becomes real traumatic, and it can cause different things in your life to take place. So that's what I like about the uniqueness of Unfiltered Unspoken. We want to talk about the things that most people want.
And we're going to talk about it.
Yes, yes, come
We're
on.
going to bring it to you.
You know, so with that, we love you, and we'll see you all on the next episode. Eventually. I don't know. What y'all? I'm just doing that just to have some fun.